as a woman, I mean, I've seen women not make these choices. And it was even something I had to, I guess, grapple with, because there were women that went to my high school. There's one woman, she wanted to wait till she was married. She went to college and she was on a mission. She went to a big school with a lot of Catholic kids. And she was on a mission to find a man to marry. And by 22, now she's married and she's got kids. And she had a lot of athletic and academic opportunities she could have pursued. And she chose not to. Just because there's laws allowing her to do the wrong thing, she didn't do it, and they just always bail out women. Always, always, always. It drives me nuts.
Kind of social norms. Technology is a big part of it. The attention that is available to women. Women go on Instagram and they get attention from thousands of men. So it's the incentives. But I would say that, because I hear this all the time, people say, well, the men need to step up and be better and lead the women. Easier said than done.
Of course, I agree with that.
They're at war with the system, and not even just the system, but also society. Because let's say you find one of these so-called good girls who's Christian and
my Israel money, really? Would I be streaming in a basement right now? It's just with the Groypers in particular. I think they're funny and I like them, but they drive me nuts because they just always are bailing out women. Always. I mean, even the Groypers, where I'm like, oh, it's the Jays. And I'm like, no, it's women making these choices. Feminism is women's using men's protector instinct against them. It's using men who want to do the right thing because men are good people against them. So everybody's a feminist. Truly. Everybody.
Traditional, but through osmosis, wherever you go, she's going to be in society. She's going to be on TikTok. She's going to be on Instagram. She's going to be talking to other women. And maybe she's one way when you meet and get married, but 10 years down the road, 15 years, 20 years down the road, people change. And I think that women, as kind of the ultimate conformists, the ultimate enforcers of like social norms, I think eventually the pressure from society kind of gets to them. And a lot of them will go in a different
Depends what
direction.
kind of husbands they have. I mean, if there's real leadership at home, I don't know.
Tucker. Okay, you're a white guy with blue eyes that is about 6-ish feet tall, worth $1 bajillion. Yeah, I think your wife is going to get more in line than like a plumber. Okay.
Single, happily married woman who's liberal, not one. I know a lot of married women. I mean, I'm 56. All the women I know are married. Mm-hmm. And every happily married woman is non-liberal. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine. There's no category for happily married, middle-aged liberal woman. There isn't, never been one.
Right.
So like maybe the job is to, make a girl happy and like all this nonsense ends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Making a woman happy, that's an impossible task. I mean, right now, it's like we have events for women. We have college for women. We have easy jobs for women. What more can women want? We're pretty safe. And we're complaining more than ever. So
I think that could be a bottomless pit too, because the one critique I have of the men is, and you're right about this, they enable this behavior.
Well, that's for sure.
It's epidemic of simps who, and especially with Christians, I've noticed this. This is why Andrew Tate has so much appeal, and the Christians are kind of losing this conversation. Andrew Tate's a Muslim polygamist who is very chauvinistic, and
he's getting younger, hotter women than the Christian conservative men, if you look at their wives. And to be honest, that's what men are going to look at an innate level. They're going to look at the Christian conservatives and be like, all right, this is what you guys got. And they're like, oh, she's a really good person. They're like, she's not young or hot. And then Andrew Tate's like, here are my bitches. And they're like these 19-year-old baddies that have only been with the Tates. And then all the conservative guys have these like mids that are nagging wives. Like Matt Walsh's wife belittles him publicly on Twitter. And everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to go with the polygamist. I'm going to tell this bitch to get back in the kitchen.
And you could even argue it as someone who has ran an OnlyFans site himself, like is not an observer, let's say, of Christian sexual morality.
No.
But men are going with him because he's putting women in their place. He's talking about patriarchy and women's place in a society like that. Whereas Christian men, Catholics, Protestants alike, are both kind of tone policing the men. And they worship their wives. They worship the women, put them on a pedestal. And they, they kind of get bossed around. They get henpecked by the women.
I think we're required to love our wives. Like that's, all over the New Testament. Husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands. That seems like a very natural balance to me.
Yeah, and I think that you have to love your wife as your wife.
Yeah.
A lot of men...
As opposed to what? Your mom?
Well, no, like your buddy.
No. Because
I hear this all the time, and I hate this. Guys will say, I married my best friend. And I think, she's your wife. She's not your best friend. Because there's a difference.
What is the difference?
I agree with this part. And you'll see, Tucker, look how confused he looks. Because he's kind of egalitarianist.
I think that when you talk about your best friend, you're a peer. You're an equal. And I think your best friendships are with other men. And I think that your wife ultimately is subordinate to you. She's your helpmate. Yeah. And ultimately, as the man in the marriage and as the father, you have authority, the final say over the household.
Well,
and
course.
She can give advice. It's not to say I'm not a freak where you say, shut up, woman. Of course, you discuss things with your wife and your wife gives input, but the authority rests with the man.
Of course. But God set up this kind of amazing system where men are physically stronger. Mm-hmm. So of course, you could make your wife do whatever you wanted. You're bigger than she is.
Right.
No, you can't. Because your wife actually has way more power than you in this country. You don't have the power to hit her. Try to hit a bitch and let me tell me how that goes for you. She's got the power of the media. She's got the power of the state. She's got the power of your children. She has all the power. You cannot be in a traditional marriage in this country. You can't. The only leverage that you have is that there are young, hot women every year you can cheat with. That's it. That's all you got.
But he also instilled in men this desire to please your wife. That's a very natural thing.
Yes. And that's what feminism is built on. It's using men's protector instinct against them.
You want your wife to be happy.
Absolutely.
And the whole happy wife, happy life thing is completely real. It's you can't get away from it. It's not all of these things. It's not a choice. It's the biological reality that you live with, that you were born with. You want your wife to be happy. And if she's unhappy, you're unhappy to a much greater extent than vice versa. Right?
Yeah.
I think men care about their wives being happy much more than wives care about their husbands being happy.
Yes.
I have noticed. And that's compensation for their lack of physical power. Mm-hmm. That's my...
No, it's because we're just not the best people. We just got some evil in us. I don't know what it is. I really wish, I even see it in myself. I do something crazy or bitchy or mean, and I'll just think, why? Why did I do this? I'm not even trying to pretend I'm so much better. But I look at my brothers versus me, and they're just, they're just better people than me. All the men I know are, in general, they're better people than I am. And I try to be the best person I can. But, women, right? We just have this emotional wreck inside of us. We're like a ship in the middle of the ocean,
view of it. And that's why it is this kind of perfect balance, but somebody needs to be the final decision maker. I completely agree. And when you give up that, when you abrogate that, there's no respect, there's unhappiness, and then there's infidelity.
Right. Well, that's the ingredient that's missing. The way I would put it very succinctly is men right now are the responsible party, but have no authority. And that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
If the buck stops with you and you're to blame and you're the responsible one, then you also need to be able to have the final say and call the shots. And one without the other.
Pearl, I'm glad you admitted you had a disability called womanhood. I know. It's tough down here. Remember Jesse Lee Peterson talking about our thoughts. We don't make our own thoughts. I don't know about that.
Doesn't work. And I think think
that's really smart and absolutely right. I do think I just noticed this, that men who stay unmarried for too long become like kind of fragile. There's something about the give and take. There's something about living with, in fact, I think it's the key to life, someone you don't fully understand that broadens you.
I have seen the opposite. I would disagree. I have seen men become way more fragile when they have wives because they're white knighting for their wife. So they start to tone police because the wife nags them. They start nagging everybody else. And then it's just an endless cycle. I love single men just as people without these women. But like, it's like, this is, hold on. This is how great a man could be without a wife. This is how great a man is with a wife, without. They always say that there are these wives that just make a man better. I haven't met one. Not one. I've only seen women that hold men back.